Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you at the start of a new week. Last week was a very good one for Arsenal, and hopefully this coming week will be equally as impressive because there's a couple of big games coming up. We've got Leicester tomorrow night, and then obviously Spurs at the weekend, which is one to look forward to. I just thought I'd join you at the start of this week and just sort of touch on the weekend's game, because I didn't do a match at the weekend. I didn't do a video from the match at the weekend. I wasn't there. I will be at Leicester tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be at Spurs the weekend as well. So I thought I'd quickly go over the match, but not spend too much time talking about that, because I'm sure you've all seen it. Actually, I was watching some of the highlights behind me just before I did this video, actually. So I won't take too much time on that, but then also just talk about a few of things. Talk about a few of the transfer rumours that are doing the rounds at the moment, give my take on them and what I sort of feel about them. Talk about a little bit we had a press conference last night with Mikel Arteta ahead of the game against Leicester, so I'll just go over a couple of things that he spoke about as well, including Alexandre Lacazette's future. So just touch on Wolves. Obviously you've got behind me there, Lacazette celebrating his goal. What a fantastic win that was for Arsenal, 2-0 up at Molineux. Just a fantastic win, really. It's probably Mikel Arteta's best since he took over at Arsenal. I thought Arteta got it spot on the whole way. I thought his substitutions were excellent. That really changed the game in the second half when Wolves started to press and were looking for an equaliser after Bukayo Saka's opening goal in the first half. I thought Arteta changed it well. The decision to take off Tierney and brought on Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I thought that really worked well. It really sort of quieted Traoré, who was really becoming a big factor of the game at that point. Should have equalised, in fact, just before the substitution was made when he chipped his chance over. So I thought that was really good. It was a real sort of credit to Arteta, really. And I just thought Arsenal were excellent. It was a really good away day. Obviously, first away win against a team above them in the Premier League for 5 years, going back to 2015 when they beat Leicester 5-2 at the King Power. A terrible record for Arsenal, a horrendous stat, really. But they've ended that run now, and hopefully it's going to give them more confidence going forward. Some of these more away games. Really good weekend for Arsenal. Fantastic result. Everyone obviously very happy about that. Like I said, we spoke to Mikel Arteta yesterday, and he was still really impressed and really happy with the performance. Okay, so that's it for the game. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Obviously, I know you've watched it. It was a couple of days ago, so there's no point in me rambling away about it. Just thought I'd talk to you now about a few of the transfer rumours doing the rounds. Obviously, we're getting close to the transfer window now, so there's more and more transfer talk around, more and more transfer interest. I know just by your comments and by your questions on my social media how interested you are about them. It's tough for me to really put anything sort of substantial in them at the moment because there's still so much uncertainty at Arsenal. But I'll just go over a couple of the rumours and give my take on what my understanding of the situation is. Thomas Partey, look, it's impossible to do one of these videos without talking about Thomas Partey. He is a very key target for Arsenal this summer. He's a player that they very much want. He's a player who's interested in coming to Arsenal. And Atletico Madrid, well aware of that interest. They want to keep him. There's a contract offer on the table from Madrid to improve Partey's contract and to substantially raise the €50 million release clause, which is currently in his one. He's not signing it at the moment because he's very much interested in what's going on with Arsenal and the interest from England. But we'll have to wait until the summer to see if this one happens. But one of the big stories going around is sort of how this deal has progressed, potential deal has progressed with Arsenal, really. It's Francis Cagiel, he's head of international recruitment at Arsenal, the man who discovered Fabregas, who played a key part, or basically drove the transfer for Gabriel Martinelli, really influential figure at Arsenal. He's a man for a good number of years who's been tracking Partey and wants to get the deal done. And now Edu and Mikel Arteta have signed it off. Very much said, let's do this, let's try and get this deal done. And that's where the stage Arsenal are. And my understanding, that is absolutely where Arsenal are. They do want this deal done. Everyone's very much united in wanting Thomas Partey at the football club. It just depends if it can all mesh together and they can sort of raise the funds. If they can do a deal with Atletico potentially for lower than Partey's release clause, if there's potential swaps in there, because that's another of the stories that was doing around this weekend, that Arsenal were open to swap in some players or to sell in some players, getting rid of Torreira, getting rid of Lacazette, even getting rid of Guendouzi, trying to bring money in which will help them sign Partey. And that is very much what Arsenal will be looking to do. We know how tight transfer funds are. this summer. We know the financial issues brought on by the coronavirus pandemic. We know the financial issues caused by Arsenal's wage bill and the continued absence from Champions League football, which looks like it's probably going to go on for at least another year as well for Arsenal. So financially, they're really struggling. Thomas Partey's got a release clause of €50 million. For Arsenal to pay that in one chunk, it's going to be very, very difficult. So they're going to have to be creative about it. They're going to have to look to move players on, or even entertain or try and bring Atletico to the party in terms of a possible swap deal. Now, Atletico Madrid do like Alexandre Lacazette. They've liked him for a long time. Simeone likes him. Simeone's on record talking about how much he likes Lacazette. That is something I could see Arsenal looking to do if it means signing Thomas Partey. But whether Atletico want it at the moment, I don't think we've got to that stage in negotiations or talks of it potentially being an absolute goer. Guendouzi, and this is just opinion, this isn't fact at all. I do think that Guendouzi would be very, very much a Diego Simeone type player, and if Arsenal could maybe dangle Guendouzi in Atletico's direction, that could be something they might be interested in. He's younger than Thomas Partey. He's got a lot of potential. We know that. Obviously, he's fallen out of favour a little bit at Arsenal and continues to be absent from the side after what happened at Brighton and the sort of subsequent fallout with his chat with Mikel Arteta at the training ground. So that's one that I think could happen, you know. And I've said in my last video in the Q&A about Guendouzi that I do think they're at a stage now where Arsenal will potentially look to cash in on Guendouzi this summer. He's still not in Arteta's plans. He wasn't involved at Wolves at the weekend. We'll have to wait and see if he is tomorrow night against Leicester, but I doubt it. And so you're getting to the stage now, he's got 2 years left on his contract. If you're going to sell him, you've got to do it now or give him a new contract, because you don't want him going down to the final year. Given where we are with Guendouzi at the moment, it's highly unlikely he's going to sign a new contract. And so I can very much see the situation where Arsenal decide to try and do their best and either sell him or swap him this summer. And that's where, you know, possibly they might look to get something done with Atletico Madrid. Another transfer rumour doing around today, which I'll just quickly discuss and give my take on, is James Rodriguez being linked with Arsenal by Marca over in Spain, saying that Arsenal want several clubs interested on Rodriguez, who Real Madrid want to move on this summer. They quote a fee of around £22.5 million. I can't see there's any way in this happening. Just the transfer fee on its own puts Arsenal out. I can't see Arsenal swapping anyone for James Rodriguez. I don't think Real Madrid will be after anyone apart from Aubameyang, Arsenal would much rather prefer to keep Aubameyang. And if they are going to get rid of him, I can't imagine it will be get rid of him for a swap for a attacking midfielder. So I just can't see it. And he's on 280 grand a week. James Rodriguez, not pulled up any trees for a long time, to be honest. Wasn't great at Bayern Munich when he was there on loan. And I just can't see there's any way in this. I just think it's absolute speculation. I don't think there's any truth in it whatsoever. From my understanding of Arsenal's finances and what they're looking to do this summer, James Rodriguez won't come onto their radar. It just looks like a non-starter for me. They'll probably go and do it now, but I'd be very, very surprised. So I'd treat that one with a pinch of salt if I review the James Rodriguez links to Arsenal. I can't see it. Not for me. Thomas Partey, absolutely. You know, you can be excited about that because that's one that Arsenal want to do. I'm not saying they will do it, but it's one they want to do. But James Rodriguez, I wouldn't get too excited about that one. Not if I were you. I'd treat that one very much with a pinch of salt. Quick one on Alexandre Lacazette, the man behind me there, celebrating his goal at Wolves at the weekend. Obviously 2 years left on his contract. We were speaking to Mikel Arteta yesterday in his press conference about Lacazette and his future. I'll just run you by what Mikel Arteta had to say about Lacazette's future. He said, "We have to have a chat about the next step with him and get his idea, his feeling. I'm really happy with him. He's a player I always liked, even when I wasn't here, because of what he brings to the team. But now we are in a crucial moment. There is no time to talk about a lot about contractual situations. We still have time and we will do it in the right moment." So basically Arteta's saying there's no rush with Lacazette and his future. They do want to sit down and talk to him. He didn't necessarily say want to talk to him about new contracts. They said they wanted to have a talk about his next step and what his feelings are, which I thought was quite interesting. Because I still think that Lacazette's one of the players that Arsenal could well look to move on this summer. And those comments from Arteta, I think, him kind of hinting that that is a possibility as well. He's not saying we absolutely want to sit down, like he said with Aubameyang. He says we want to keep at all costs. You know, he doesn't say that at all about Lacazette here. He says there's no rush, and we want to sit down and have a talk about his next step and get his idea, his feeling on all of that. So I thought those comments were quite interesting for Arteta on Lacazette. I just don't think there's a absolute feeling of necessity at Arsenal when it comes to getting him to sign a new contract, and he could well be one of the ones they're viewing as a player who could bring in some funds or use as a potential swap deal when getting one of their key targets this summer. So I thought that was quite interesting from Arteta. But fair play to Lacazette for his goal. Fantastic goal as well. Great touch. He needed that, scoring away from home in the Premier League. You can see how happy he was. And fair play to Lacazette, because it was a really good goal, really good touch, and sealed what was a very good win. So that's it. That was pretty much it for this morning. Just thought I'd join you for a short, sharp video at the start of the week. Like I said, thank you once again for all your support on these videos, and for all the new subscribers and everyone watching. Appreciate it very much. And if this is new to you and you haven't subscribed, then please do hit the button. It's down there somewhere, and I'll be back throughout the week with a couple more videos if I can. I'll try and get another Q&A done, because I know they're very popular. I'll try and get one of those done as soon as I possibly can, and we'll see if I can get something done from the Emirates, do some player ratings tomorrow night after Arsenal versus Leicester, and what hopefully, fingers crossed, be 3 more points for Arsenal. So until then, everyone, stay safe. See you soon.